Hi friends, Frank Wiles from Redis here. Just wanted to chat with you a little bit about something we've discovered in this world of AI bot crawlers. We've been having trouble with some of our clients that have very large sites with lots of pages where web crawlers tend to get stuck, generating millions of worthless one-time use sessions, which when you're using something like Django's CacheDB session engine, which stores the session into the database, even though it's cached in something like Redis, still causes a problem, both in terms of just wasted storage space, but also can bring a site down. We've seen these AI crawlers ignore robots.txt, they don't honor any sort of cache headers, and they are often operating with very, very high concurrency from many different IP addresses, so they're almost impossible to block. But we've stumbled across the solution which involves using Redis in a non-standard way, which is LFU, or least frequently used cache expiration. When we think of caching, we think of LRU, least recently used. It's the default for memcached, it's effectively the default for Redis, it's built into Python, it's what you think of when you think of caching. But LFU tracks how frequently used a cache key is and expires the ones that are not used very often. So I wrote up a little blog post on this with details of exactly how this works, how to configure Django for it. We can see that it's pretty straightforward. What we end up doing is we actually end up deploying two instances of Redis, one that's configured normally that you can use for Celery, normal caching, template fragment caching, everything you're normally used to using caching for, but then using this specially configured second Redis, which I've named Sessions here, specifically just for sessions. Now, I want to show you a quick little demo. I wrote up a little demo that explains in a little more detail, or I guess it shows you in a little more detail exactly how this works. Thank you, Claude, for helping me build this. But what this is doing is we've launched two Redises, one on port 6000, one on port 6001, the first being LRU, the second is configured for least frequently used. And then what we're doing is we're stuffing it full of cache keys to simulate user sessions. What it's doing right now is actually going over top of the memory constraints, behaving like an AI crawler would. And what we see is that our high frequently used, so any kind of normal human that would browse maybe 10 pages or 5 pages or 2 pages, their keys survive, but we have evicted all of the one-time use keys, which in this case are almost certainly AI bot crawlers. So if you have this problem, please look into setting Redis into LFU mode, which is relatively straightforward. If we take a look here at our compose, we just have one Redis that is configured normally and one configured for LFU, which is using a particular config file. And what we've done is we've set it to volatile LFU cache. And that's the only thing you need to change. And hopefully you will find this useful and keep your sites online. Thanks a lot.